more than just the market? What about the people out of work? And not the 9.1, no 9, the 15, 16, 17, 18% out of work. Okay?
But if this continues, the argument is, not among all, but that it could be the wind at his back, that it's going to improve prospects for those folks.
I think the surge in regulation these last 3 years has dramatically changed the underlying structure of job creation in America. Look at Wall Street. Look at the banks. They're laying off left and right. One of my
bonuses are way down.
Yeah, because the profits are way down. Goldman Sachs lost money in the last quarter.
I talked to your buddy Bernie Marcus not too long ago. If he could do, or you guys could do,
we couldn't
today what you did with Home Depot when you got it going.
We couldn't.
And he said, no, I don't understand what is different.
Here, we believe that every single person that worked with us, nobody worked for us, they were our associates, should own the stock, directly or indirectly. Options today, you must expense. So when we started the company and we had 2 stores and then 4 stores, those people that got those options, we would have had it immediately expense them at the Black-Scholes about 40%.
Right.
But guess what? We never would have had earnings. We'd have been, and it was foolish because if the options expired out of the money, the expense we booked never really happened.
Yeah, but you know why I don't buy that? You would have found another way to make it work. And you guys and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, the one common theme is, in a very tough environment, you guys made it work.
Look, we made it. Look, we started in the roughest of times. We started in 1979.
Sure.
Okay. We probably didn't know any better, so we didn't know what fear was. But you're asking me if we could do it again. We could probably have succeeded, but not on the scale that we did. Keep in mind.
So what does this president have to do? Tell me 2 things Ken Langone says he has to do right now.
He needs a sentiment transplant. He needs to go from looking at business as fat cats and saying, this is what brought America to the party. I will tell you right now, the biggest threat to our democracy, in my mind, is unemployment. People who have a job, people who are educating their kids, people who are going to a movie, people who are paying off a home, people who are buying a car, they're in the game. They're in the game and they're happy. But you take people who are out of work and all they see is despair. He talks about, or whoever it is talks about the widening gap between the rich and the poor. The reason is not that we worked harder or smarter and made more money. The reason is that we're not bringing education into the lower level. I am where I am today because my parents were adamant about my having a quality education. And I went to a public school out in Long Island. I had great teachers. And I learned, and I was eligible for college. It wasn't hard for me to jump into the mainstream.
But do you see their point about that chasm? One way to close it is to tax guys like you more, to narrow it.
That's not good. You could tax us 100%, and you won't move the needle. Why not accept the biggest barrier to closing that gap are the quality of teaching in the public schools. There's a direct correlation. Look and see the performance of these kids, and look at the economic. You bring somebody to Home Depot that can count, that can read, that can communicate, that does a great job. We have a guy, his name is Joe McFarland. I'm so proud of him. He started with us at the very bottom. He now runs 700 stores. He's probably got, I'm going to guess, 125,000 employees under him.
Who actually came up with the Home Depot idea? Because neither you nor Bernie Marcus were handy.
No, Bernie and I were walking the store one day when it was Handy Dan, before we got fired. And at that, I was all excited. We were in Kansas City, and we were opening a new store. I owned 16% of the company, and I was being my usual self, which is like, if you want to play poker, play it with me. Because when I got a great hand, I whistle and I clap my hand. And so Bernie said, hey, you better be careful. I said, what do you mean? He said, he said, there's something out there that could wipe this industry out. I said, well, tell me what it is. He said, nope. He said, it's so profound, I'm not going to tell you. So when Bernie got fired and called me for a job, he had no money, he had a family, he had no insurance. He called me and he flew to New York, and we met at the Waldorf Astoria on a Sunday morning. He brought a lawyer with him, a good guy, Jerry Glassman, and I said, Sigaloff, who's now dead, let his soul rest in peace, if he had one. Sigaloff says, Bernie says to me, that Sigaloff wants to put me in jail. I said, for what? I don't know. So I said to Jerry, Jerry, whatever the hell these guys did, he's not going to jail. I said, fine. I said, Bernie, let's start a company. What do you mean? I remember you told me that there was this thing out there that if somebody did it, it would change the industry.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Amazing. But
And
you're
then
not, you weren't handy then, and you're not handy
You know
now.
what I've got
All right.
in my office? I've got the original plan
Okay.
before we opened our first store.
Man, I want to see that. Maybe I'll see that tonight, Fox Business. You're going to be joining